Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something most of us never even think about: the invisible systems that keep us safe at work. And you know, it's not magic, and it's definitely not just luck. It's a powerful, structured approach to safety, and understanding it can empower you, like every single day. So, what is it? What's the secret sauce that stops disasters on job sites, in factories, and in workshops all over the country? Well, the answer is this really robust framework of rights, proactive planning, and specific controls for hazards. So let's break down exactly how it all works.
First things first, before you even think about plans or equipment, safety starts with a super fundamental principle: you have a right to be safe. And this isn't just some nice idea, it's the law.
This single sentence, it holds an incredible amount of power. It's the general duty clause, and it's really the cornerstone of your employer's responsibility. What it means is, even if there isn't a specific rule written down for some unique danger, your employer is still legally required to protect you from any serious recognized hazard. You can think of it as the ultimate safety net. And that clause, it empowers you directly with a core set of rights. The right to a safe workplace, period. The right to be trained on the specific dangers you might face. And this one is huge: the right to report a hazard without any fear of retaliation. You even have the right to participate when an OSHA inspector shows up. These aren't just rules for your boss, they're your own personal protections.
So we've got those rights established. How do we move from that principle into actual practice? Well, it all starts with being proactive. The best safety programs don't sit around and wait for accidents to happen. They are designed to actively prevent them right from the get-go.
And here's one of the most powerful tools in the entire safety playbook: the Job Hazard Analysis, or JHA. Think of it like a detective's investigation before the job even begins. First, you break the task down, piece by piece. Then, for each of those little pieces, you ask, okay, what could go wrong here? And finally, and this is the important part, you figure out how to stop that bad thing from ever happening. It completely flips safety from being a reaction to being a really smart, well-thought-out strategy.
And that strategy? It only gets really effective when it becomes part of the culture. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? A binder full of rules sitting on a shelf isn't going to keep anybody safe. A true safety culture is when everyone, from the CEO all the way down to the newest hire, makes safety part of their everyday actions and decisions. It's about what people actually do, not just what the rulebook says.
Okay, so we've got our rights and we've got our plan. Now, let's apply all that to some of the biggest and, frankly, scariest dangers you can find in the workplace.
6 feet. In the world of construction safety, this is one of the most important numbers there is. It's the trigger height. The second you're working 6 feet or more above a lower level, you absolutely must be protected from a fall. It's such a simple figure, but it represents a life or death threshold.
Now, protecting people from falls isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Different hazards need different controls. See an unprotected edge? That gets a guardrail. A worker moving around way up high? They need a full-body harness. A big open area down below? That might call for a safety net. The key takeaway here is that the protection has to match the specific risk, always.
All right, let's talk about another big one: hazardous energy. The lockout/tagout procedure, or LOTO, is the absolute, non-negotiable process for making sure a machine can't start up by surprise during service. It's a very precise sequence. You shut it down, you isolate the power, then you apply your own personal lock and tag. But the most critical step, and I really mean this, is the last one. You have to verify that all the energy is gone before you start your work. That verification step is what makes the whole system foolproof.
Another major hazard is fire. But did you know not all fires are the same? Nope, they're actually classified based on what's fueling them. A Class A fire with wood or paper is totally different from a Class C fire with live electrical equipment, and using the wrong extinguisher, like, say, spraying water on an electrical fire, could be absolutely catastrophic. So knowing the fire class is crucial to grabbing the right tool for the job.
Okay, so we've talked about getting rid of hazards and controlling them. But what happens when a hazard just can't be completely removed? Well, that brings us to our final section, the last line of defense.
I want you to really let this sink in. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, is absolutely essential. But, and this is a big but, it is always your last line of defense. The goal is always to engineer the hazard out of the job first. PPE is what's there to protect you when those other controls just aren't enough. It is your final shield, not your first one.
And just like we talked about with fall protection, PPE has to be matched to the specific hazard.
I mean, you wouldn't wear earplugs to protect your head from falling objects, right? Of course not. A hard hat protects your head. Safety goggles shield your eyes from a chemical splash. A respirator protects your lungs from nasty dust and fumes. Getting the right gear for the right risk is what makes all the difference. So there you have it. We've walked through the whole system, your rights, the proactive planning, and the specific controls for those top-tier hazards. And look, this isn't just theoretical knowledge. It's a practical framework you can use to see your own workplace with brand new eyes. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Now that you know the system, what's one hazard you'll look for tomorrow?